Hi, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to Heather Rose Up. I am Heather. In this video, I will be doing another collab where I will be sharing my favorite summer dessert recipe. So if you'd like to see what I, along with a group of great YouTubers, will be making, keep watching. Okay, as you can tell by this title of this collab, we will be sharing our favorite summer desserts. I started thinking of different dessert options that I would want to make for the summer or for the holiday, and then I thought it would be a great idea to get my favorite YouTubers together, my favorite WW YouTubers, and host another collab so we can all share our favorite summer dessert ideas. Which brings me to the tip I want to give you guys for summer success. So in this collab, we'll also be sharing one tip that helps us with our journey for summer success to hopefully help set you up for summer success also. My tip is to have a dessert on hand over the summer. Over the summer, my children are eating ice cream, popsicles, we have more treats in the house, and I need something that I know will make me feel indulged, satisfied, and not deprived. So that's where I started to think of doing this collab. I want to thank all of the other participants who are joining in this collab. They have a lot of great ideas. I'm excited to see their videos. In the description below, I will have a list to all of their channels. Make sure you go check them out, subscribe, give them all the love that they deserve, and check out their video for this collab. I heard about some recipes that people are going to be making, and I'm excited myself to see what they're going to be sharing and can't wait to make what they're making. I do want to give a quick shout out because the day that this comes out will be July 3rd, and one of the participants, her name is Kat, and her channel is Kat on Point, is her birthday. So happy birthday, Kat. I'm so glad that you decided to celebrate your birthday by joining in on our collab. My contribution will be Dreamsicle Pie. This is a recipe that I made before I had my weight loss surgery, and I really loved it. Once I had my surgery, I had to watch my sugar intake, and I knew that this would be a recipe that I could modify to be less sugar, and it ended up being more of a crowd pleaser because I made it all the time because it was my go-to dessert for the summer. Anywhere I brought it, people loved it. And then once I joined WW, I modified it again even more to make it a little more point friendly. And what I really like about this recipe is you can change it and modify it in so many different ways. You can change the flavor, you can change whether or not you want a crust, etc. Okay, before I get started, I should probably tell you how many smart points this recipe is. So I double checked on all three plans, and this recipe ends up being 8 smart points per serving, and the pie makes 8 servings. 8 smart points for dessert doesn't seem bad for me as long as I budget it in, but if that's too high for you, try it without the crust. I believe it makes it out to be only 5 smart points. Let's get started. Enough of the talk already. Let's make some dessert. Okay, so for the filling, you're going to need a half a cup of non-fat Greek yogurt. You will also need 4 ounces of third less fat cream cheese. You'll need an 8-ounce container of light whipped topping. You can use sugar-free or reduced fat. Just make sure you plug in the points. For the filling, you are going to need to use 3/4 of this container and save the other quarter for the topping. You will need an 8.5 gram box of sugar-free orange Jello, and this is where you can get creative. You can use many different flavors. I've used lime before, and it tastes a lot like a key lime pie. Now these mandarin oranges I got because I couldn't find the no sugar added oranges in a can, so I ended up getting the Del Monte cups, and I used 2 of these. So you can use 2 of these or like a 10-ounce can. I'm honestly not sure how many ounces come in a can, as long as it's the no sugar added and it's approximately 10 ounces. You really don't have to get too precise or too exact with that measurement. Also, you want to make sure that you have these drained, and then you also want to go through and take out 5 oranges that look really pretty that you can put on top for a garnish, and I'll show you that later, but everything else will be in the filling. You're going to need a cup of no sugar added crushed pineapple, so that is for the filling. For the crust, I'm using a recipe that I found on the Pound Droppers website, and I'm modifying it a little bit. You don't have to have a crust with this recipe. It doesn't scoop out as nicely without it, but it's still really good. The filling alone is really good. But I am making this today with a crust. And what you will need for the way that I'm making it is 1 cup of graham cracker crumb. You also want 4 tablespoons of light butter made with canola oil. You will need 2 tablespoons of stevia or any kind of 0-point sweetener. And you'll need a half a teaspoon of cinnamon. Okay, so let's make the crust. I did forget to mention that the 4 tablespoons of butter spread has to be melted as well. So we're gonna preheat the oven to 375. I'm gonna take a 9-inch pie pan and I'm going to spray it with any kind of non-stick butter spray. Put that aside. It doesn't have to be butter, by the way. I just think it gives it a better or extra flavor, especially if I'm using less butter spread. And then in a mixing bowl, we're going to combine the graham crackers, the sugar substitute, the cinnamon, and the melted butter. So here is the 1 cup of graham crackers, the 2 tablespoons of 0-point sweetener. Again, this is based off of the pound wrapper recipe. I'm just modifying it to be a little less. The half a teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm gonna mix that up a little bit before I add the butter. Sprayed, and I'm going to pour the graham cracker mixture into the pan. Try to get some to go up the sides. I know because there's less butter than the recipe calls for, it's going to be a little crumbly, so I don't want to go too far up the sides, because it probably won't even let me. And now I'm going to bake the crust at 375 for 7 minutes. And while the crust bakes, I'm going to start making the filling. So first I'm going to add the yogurt. And if you don't have one of these measuring cups, you're missing out. It is a game changer. I saw it in one of Joan's videos and we went and bought one. Then we'll add the cream cheese and 3/4 of a tub of light whipped toppings. So, and this again doesn't have to be exact. I'm literally going to cut out 1/4 and not use that. Because that is what you will put on top of the pie. I'm going to take the sugar-free Jello and put that in as well. And then I'm going to hold off on putting the fruit in. But we're going to mix the dairy products and then the Jello together first to get them really nice and combined. And it would help if I had a paddle on that. So the crust didn't seem quite done yet, so I decided to put it in for another 2 minutes. And I got my paddle. Start mixing this on low to get everything nice and combined. So the crust is done and it smells amazing, and it took approximately 9 minutes. So 7 to 10 minutes on the crust should do it. So now I'm gonna start adding the fruit, but I'm going to add the pineapple first, mix it, and then add the oranges. And the reason is because the oranges contain a lot of moisture and juices, and if you mix them up for too long, the filling is going to become more runny and less solid. And we're just gonna mix this up just enough to mix it, to combine the ingredients. Lowest setting, so you don't break up the pineapple too much. And now I'm gonna add the oranges. And again, just long enough to get the ingredients mixed. You want the oranges to break up a little bit, but not too much. Okay, I'm gonna scrape the bowl, just make sure that everything was actually combined well. All right, now I'm gonna let the pie crust cool for a little bit longer before I put the filling inside. Okay, so now I'm going to add the filling. So I added the filling. And you can see that there's still crust around the edges, so even with the smaller amount of graham crackers, this recipe, my modified recipe, works perfect for this recipe. So yeah, you want to just spread it out nice and even. And then you want to take the Cool Whip, that last quarter of Cool Whip, and you want to spread it out nice and even on top of the pie mixture. Excuse me, this is the Fit and Active light whipped topping. Sorry, Aldi. And then those oranges that I had mentioned before to put aside, the 5 oranges, you want to display them in a cute little spiral design. You can also put some around the edges, however you decide to make it look. So that is the completed product. What you will want to do with this though is you will want to stick it in the fridge and let it set for a couple of hours so the filling has a chance to set with the gelatin and it comes out of the pie plate a little bit more easily. And again, this recipe ends up being 8 smart points for 1/8 of this pie pan. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoy this recipe. I'm interested in knowing if you try it, and if you like it, please let me know. Again, don't forget to check out all the other channels in the description box and check out their recipes. And to anybody that is new here, again, welcome. If you would be so kind to hit that subscribe button so you can continue to follow along on my weight loss journey, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.